Datta, Sri Guru Datta.
Jai Guru 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 Datta, Sri Guru Datta. Jai Guru Datta, Sri Guru Datta.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Guru Datta, and welcome to another Sunday evening edition of Datta Arpanam with your hosts Rishi Nirvan Baru
and Ravita Singh. Jai Guru Datta, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Paramapujya Dr. Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji of Avadhuta Dattapeetham in Mysuru. Today's show begins with the offering of pranams, gratitude and this invocation prayer at the revered feet of beloved Sadguru Deva Pujya Shri Swamiji, as their show, possible only through His divine grace, is offered to him.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Ganapati Gurumekam Satchidananda Rupam, Vibhuda Sevyam Yoga Margadhirudham, Sharanamupagatanam Ati Sankhadi Vajram, Mama Hridaya Nivasam Bhakti Namro Namami. Once again, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to Datta Arpanam this evening. Today's show is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of Valini's Drug Mart Limited of 58 to 60 Sutton Street, San Fernando, Debe Supermart Limited of 182 SS Erin Road, Debe, Kokie Supermart Limited of 14 Naparima Mayaro Road, San Fernando, and Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited of 1126 SS Erin Road, Debe, and 225 Southern Main Road, Warrenville, Cunupia.
Last week on Datta Arpanam, you heard the story of how 6-day-old Anjaneya, or baby Lord Hanuman, was rendered almost lifeless by the blow of Indra's thunderbolt. You heard that as a result of this injury, that baby came to be blessed by the Devatas with many different boons. One such boon was immunity against Lord Brahma's very powerful weapon, the Brahmastra.
Contemplation upon that story was inspired by the 75th shloka of Shatashloki Ramayanam, which ends with the words Grahanam Samupagamata. This expression tells us that Lord Hanuman allowed himself to be taken captive. The more detailed explanation of that event is that when Lord Hanuman, on a reconnaissance mission to Lanka, demolished much of Ashokavana and also destroyed many of Ravana's troops, Indrajit, Ravana's son, attacked Lord Hanuman with the Brahmastra. Even though he knew that thanks to the boon Lord Brahma had bestowed upon him when he was only 6 days old, the Brahmastra could do him no harm, Lord Hanuman still allowed himself to be taken captive. He hoped he would be taken to meet Ravana, to whom he wanted to deliver a message.
Today, the story continues as we move on to the 76th shloka of Shatashloki Ramayanam. And just to remind you, Shatashloki Ramayanam, as the name suggests, is the Ramayanam of 100 shlokas or 100 verses. Told by Narada Maharishi to his disciple Valmiki Maharishi, this Bala Ramayanam or condensed version of Srimad Ramayanam is found in the Bala Kanda of Valmiki or Srimad Ramayanam. Incidentally, for those of you who are new to Datta Arpanam, first of all, thank you for tuning in to this evening's show. But secondly, you may find that during the course of this series, the words may sound a bit different from what you are used to. Let's use the words Lakshmana and Sugriva as examples. Often in Trinidad and Tobago, discourses on the story of Lord Rama are taken from Ramcharitmanas, which is written in a Hindi dialect. And often in Hindi, when a word ends with the letter A, the A is silent, so we say Lakshman or Sugriv. However, as Shatashloki Ramayanam is taken from Srimad Ramayanam, and Srimad Ramayanam is a Sanskrit or Samskritam text, to honor the language in which the text is written, to the best of our ability, we will try to adhere to Sanskrit or Samskritam pronunciations. So, while you may hear the word Lakshman in Ramcharitmanas, in Valmiki Ramayanam, he is called Lakshmana.
And while Ramcharitmanas may refer to Sugriv, Srimad Ramayanam or Valmiki Ramayanam refers to him as Sugriva.
Exactly. Different languages, different pronunciations, but same characters and same lessons.
And that brings us to another point. There's a free app called SGS Posts, which is available for all to download from either the App Store or Google Play. On this app, every single day, Parama Pujya Sri Swamiji posts short memes with instructions to help uplift us and guide us. One instruction which has been shared by Pujya Appaji on that app is Learn Sanskrit. So, listeners, we hope you will not only stay with us on this journey into Shatashloki Ramayanam, but in so doing, learn at least a few Sanskrit words, as well as develop an appreciation and fondness for that beautiful and timeless language.
Actually, just recently, Pujya Appaji, in one of his discourses, also stated that all devotees must learn Kannada. And since with Kannada being a southern Indian language, most Trinidadians are not familiar with it, it felt like a nice introduction to the language might be one of Pujya Sri Swamiji's Kannada bhajan compositions glorifying Lord Ganapati.
An entire episode of Datta Arpanam could probably be spent giving the symbolism contained within the Kannada bhajan Siddhi Duta Buddhinata. For today though, only a literal translation will be given. In the bhajan, written and sung by Pujya Sri Swamiji, Lord Ganapati is praised by saying to that Lord, "You are the precursor to accomplishments, O Lord of the intellect and commander of success. Holding the sugarcane in one hand and the noose in the other, you are the destroyer of delusion. You are attired in red clothing, O son of Ishvara, and are the master of sound, meaning Om. With tiny eyes you give happiness to devotees and feed them." Here, feeds them means he feeds them with true knowledge. O Arka Ganapati, you are worshipped first amongst all. You are pleased by music and dance and are the personification of truth, knowledge and bliss.
Listeners, if you have the Bhajan Mala app, please open it now to Bhajan ID number 4 and join Pujya Appaji in singing. As you've been previously encouraged to do, treat Datta Arpanam as satsang coming into your home. Don't just listen, but get involved, participate.
And joining in is not restricted to those who have the Bhajanmala app. If you do not yet have the app, simply visit the website www.bhajanmala.com, enter Bhajan ID number 4, and the lyrics to that bhajan will come up.
So now that you know who composed the bhajan, who will be leading us in singing it, what language the bhajan is in, where to find the words to the bhajan, and what those words mean, please do join in and sing along.
Siddhi Duta Buddhinata Siddhinayaka Siddhi Duta Buddhinata Siddhinayaka Ikshudanda Pashagasta Roga Nashaka Ikshudanda Pashagasta Roga Nashaka Siddhi Duta Buddhinata Siddhinayaka Siddhi Duta Buddhinata Siddhinayaka Ikshudanda Pashagasta Roga Nashaka Ikshudanda Pashagasta ಶೋಣವಸ್ತ್ರ ಈಶ ಪುತ್ರ ನಾದನಾಥನೇ ಶೋಣವಸ್ತ್ರ ಶೋಣವಸ್ತ್ರ ಈಶ ಪುತ್ರ ನಾದನಾಥನೇ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮನೇತ್ರ ಭಕ್ತಗಸಿತ ಭೋಕ್ತವಾದನೆ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮನೇತ್ರ ಭಕ್ತಗಸಿತ ಭೋಕ್ತವಾದನೆ ಸಿದ್ಧಿದೂತ ಬುದ್ಧಿನಾಥ ಸಿದ್ಧಿನಾಯಕ ಸಿದ್ಧಿದೂತ ಬುದ್ಧಿನಾಥ ಸಿದ್ಧಿನಾಯಕ ಇಕ್ಷುದಂಡ ಪಾಶಗಸ್ತ ರೋಗನಾಶಕ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲ ವಂದ್ಯ ಅರ್ಕ ಗಣಪನೇ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲ ವಂದ್ಯ ಅರ್ಕ ಗಣಪನೇ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲ ವಂದ್ಯ ಅರ್ಕ ಗಣಪನೇ ನಾದಲೋಲ ನಾಟ್ಯಾನಂದ ಸಚಿದಾನಂದ ನಾದಲೋಲ ನಾಟ್ಯಾನಂದ ಸಚಿದಾನಂದನೇ ಸಿದ್ಧಿದೂತ ಬುದ್ಧಿನಾಥ ಸಿದ್ಧಿನಾಯಕ ಇಕ್ಷುದಂಡ ಪಾಶಗತ್ತ ರೋಗ ನಾಶಕ ಇಕ್ಷುದಂಡ ಪಾಶಗತ್ತ ರೋಗ ನಾಶಕ ಸಿದ್ಧಿದೂತ ಬುದ್ಧಿನಾಥ ಸಿದ್ಧಿನಾಯಕ 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 ಸಿದ್ಧಿದೂತ ಬುದ್ಧಿನಾಥ ಸಿದ್ಧಿನಾಯಕ ಸಿದ್ಧಿದೂತ ಬುದ್ಧಿನಾಥ ಸಿದ್ಧಿನಾಯಕ 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 ಸಿದ್ಧಿನಾಯಕ.
What a beautiful bhajan to get today's show started. When we worship Lord Ganapati, not only do obstacles get removed, but so does fear. In fact, even if we do not know a full bhajan, all we have to do is, with devotion, with love and affection, chant Gam Ganapataye Namaha for just even 5 minutes. By doing this, one will see good results in his or her work, in his or her health, and in dealing with any problems. So says Lord Ganapati's namesake, Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, the composer and singer of the bhajan which you just heard.
You're listening to Datta Arpanam on 103.1 FM. Thank you for tuning in to this hour of worship, which is coming to you through the grace of Puja Sri Swamiji, and thanks to the kind sponsorship by Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Daybase Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokay Supermart Limited.
At this stage, we head straight into today's contemplation upon the 76th shloka of Shatashloki Ramayanam. So please open the Bhajanmala app or website once again. This time, enter Stotra ID number 2295, scroll down to Shloka 76 and join Puja Appaji as he chants.
अस्त्रेणोन्मुक्तमात्मानं ज्ञात्वा पैता महाद्वरात् मर्शयन् राक्षसान् वीरो यन्त्रिणस्तान् यदृच्छया.
In this 76th shloka of Shatashloki Ramayanam, Narada Maharishi says to Valmiki Maharishi that Viro, the mighty, meaning the mighty Hanuman, Nyatva, knowing, Paita Mahadvarat, Brahma's boon, Unmuktam, that he could release, Atmanam, himself, Astreno, from the weapon, meaning here the weapon given by Lord Brahma, Yadrichaya, by his own free will, as he wanted to meet Ravana, Marshayan, endured, Yantrana, restraint by the ropes, Tan Rakshasan, of the demons.
In other words, the shloka says that although Lord Hanuman had in him the capacity to set himself free from the Brahmastra, he did not opt to do so. Instead, he allowed himself to be bound by it and to be taken to Ravana's palace.
We already heard in Shloka 75 that Lord Hanuman allowed himself to be held captive when Indrajit used the Brahmastra on him. Now let us see why the Lord chose to do so.
Instead of freeing himself from the Brahmastra, Lord Hanuman began to think to himself, I should personally see the demon Ravana and carefully assess his capacity and strengths. By praising the prowess of Rama, I can weaken Ravana's morale and his courage. I can create a deep fear in his mind.
And listeners, straight away a subtle lesson is taught through these musings of Lord Hanuman. Just moments ago, you heard that worshipping Lord Ganapati with devotion eradicates fear. Through Lord Hanuman's musings, we are seeing where fear originates. It is in the mind. This may seem a little abstract, but it is so true. Whatever we give focus to, that is what appears to us to be real. Let me give you an example. Have you ever been so caught up in a good movie that a mosquito is biting you but you do not even realize? But then on another day, the same TV is on, but your favorite show hasn't started yet. A mosquito bites you again. Suddenly it feels like the mosquito is terrorizing you. Why? Did the mosquito not bite you the first time? Of course it did. But your mind was not on the mosquito back then. Your mind was on your show. On the second occasion, without that preoccupation of the mind, the mosquito's attack seemed intolerable. Listeners, it is definitely not an easy thing to do, especially initially. But when you find yourself leaning towards thoughts laden with negativity, thoughts which invoke fear, thoughts which invoke sadness, thoughts which invoke anger, thoughts which invoke hate, or thoughts which invoke jealousy, stop and remind yourself that in the grand scheme of things, anything which changes is unreal. The only thing that is real is that which is unchanging. In other words, the soul or the self, the Paramatma within.
And Paramatma does not invoke fear, sadness, anger, hate, or jealousy. He is bliss. I am bliss. You are bliss. That is our true nature. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. This means I am Parabrahman. I am the Supreme Divinity. Let this Mahavakya, or this great saying, be one of your mottos. Let it be one of your sources of solace.
Listeners, when we bring our minds to God or to Guru, that is all it takes to eradicate fear, to eradicate sadness, to eradicate anger, to eradicate hate, and to eradicate jealousy.
So now, having been taught this powerful life-changing lesson by Lord Hanuman, let us join together and engage in Nama Sankirtanam, a very powerful tool for not only bringing the mind to God, but also for keeping it there. Please open your Bhajanmala app once again, this time to Bhajan ID number 541, and sing with love, with devotion, and with affection this beautiful Devi Bhajan.
Durga Durgamma, Amma Durga Durgamma.
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 Durga Durgamma, Amma
Durga Durgamma. దుర్గను తలచిన దుర్గతి తొలగును, దుర్గను కొలచిన సద్గతి కలుగును, దుర్గను పిలిచిన దగ్గర నిలుచును, దుర్గను మలచిన చిత్తము గెలుచును. భయమున తలచిన భయములు తొలగును, సుఖమున తలచిన శుభమతి కలుగును, కలతలు కరుగును కలుములు వలుగును, కలుములు పలు పలు విలువల చలములు చెలగును. దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ. Durga Durgamma. లేమిని బాపెదవమ్మ, సుఖదామము చూపెదవమ్మ. సుఖదామము చూపెదవమ్మ. కామితమిచ్చెదవమ్మ, కలకాముని పుచ్చెదవమ్మ. కలకాముని పుచ్చెదవమ్మ. శోకములేది కనమ్మ, పరిపాకమ్మ కిటునిమ్మ. రుచిర జ్ఞానము నిమ్మ, ఘన సచ్చిదానందవుతుమ్మ. దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ.
Durga Durgamma, Amma Durga Durgamma. Durga
Durgamma, అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ. దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ
Durga Durgamma.
అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ. అమ్మ అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ. దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ.
Durga Durgamma, Amma Durga Durgamma.
దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ.
Durga Durgamma, Amma Durga Durgamma.
దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ. దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ
Durga Durgamma.
దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ. దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ. అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ. అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ, అమ్మ దుర్గా దుర్గమ్మ.
Today's Lord Ganapati Bhajan was a Kannada bhajan. The bhajan to which you just listened, a Devi bhajan, which was also composed and rendered by Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Sachidananda Swamiji, was a Telugu bhajan. And what a beautiful Telugu bhajan it is. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM this evening through the grace of Pujya Shri Swamiji And thanks to the sponsorship by Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited.
On today's show, without even getting very far into the story behind the 76th shloka of Shatashloki Ramayanam, already an important lesson was learned from Lord Hanuman's thinking when he was attacked by Indrajit. Having decided that he should meet Ravana and instill fear and doubt in the demon's mind, Lord Hanuman allowed the Brahmastra to bind him completely.
Seeing the Vanara bound by the weapon, there was no limit to the joy of the demons. They brought all the ropes that were available in the city and bound him with them. They double-checked that the ropes were all knotted properly and ensured that the monkey did not escape.
And listeners, again a lesson is learnt. Here, Lord Hanuman being tied down by ropes can be likened to holding someone back from achieving their goal. The scene teaches us that trying to deliberately foil another person's attempt at something good, that is a demonic trait. Instead of deliberately trying to restrict another's progress, we should be happy for them and encourage them. As Pooja Appaji has said on SJS posts, be happy when others are successful and happy.
Sri Swamiji has also taught that there should be no competition in service. If you compete, he says, the purpose is lost. Seva should come from your heart. It is not the size of the seva that matters, but how well you perform that seva.
And if there is some competition in which you do participate, compete to improve yourself, not to defeat others. Your joy must lie in your success, not in someone else's defeat. Listeners, in this life, we come alone and we leave alone. No matter how close we may be to friends and relatives, ultimately each of us has a very individualized journey to undergo. So, work at progressing on your journey, but at the same time leave others to progress on theirs as well. In fact, instead of restricting their progress, help them as much as you can.
Seeing the demons joyously binding Lord Hanuman with as many ropes as they could find, Indrajit became frustrated. He kept screaming, "All of you are great fools! Please do not bind the monkey with ropes. Once the Brahmastra weapon is used, one should not use any ropes or any other material to bind the person further. In fact, such a person should not be touched at all. Now with your actions, the Brahmastra will be rendered ineffective."
Listeners, this is one of the beauties of Ramayanam. At every single juncture, there's a lesson to learn. Sometimes the lesson is very obvious, and at other times it is a bit subtler. But by reading with reverence, by contemplating with reverence, by the grace of Sadgurudeva, morals will be seen. This scene where Indrajit is getting frustrated because although the Brahmastra is used, the demons are still finding other ropes to tie Lord Hanuman. This scene teaches us a lesson in faith.
And it may sound strange that Rishi is talking about a demon teaching us about faith, but it's true. Sometimes Sadgurudeva gives an instruction, but while we follow that instruction, we still go asking this person and that pundit and an astrologer even what should be done to get the best result. The little difference here though is that unlike the instance when lack of faith in the Brahmastra might render it ineffective, Sadgurudeva is so filled with compassion that he forgives us. But still we should ask ourselves, if Pooja Appaji says that all difficulties disappear when one studies Bhagavad Gita, then why do we, okay fine, follow his instruction and chant, but meanwhile we worry about the exam tomorrow, or about not getting the promotion that's up for grabs, or about the surgery planned for next week?
We must understand that karma is not something we can run away from. But by studying scriptures like Ramayanam or Bhagavad Gita, we learn how to treat everything that comes our way with the prasada buddhi mindset, with the mindset that everything is prasadam from God. And when we learn to think that way, then what can possibly be perceived as a difficulty? Prasadam from God? Do we really appreciate what a gift that is?
Indrajit, though a demon, showed us the type of faith we must have. He believed in the power of the Brahmastra as a standalone weapon. He did not feel, well, this is only one weapon. I've been told other weapons used alongside it will only weaken it. But how can many weapons be less powerful than just one weapon? No. Indrajit maintained faith in that weapon's ability to single-handedly bring down a foe. And that is the kind of faith we should have in God, in Guru, and in our scriptures to destroy the foes known as doubt, fear, worry, jealousy, anger, hate, lust, gluttony, and so on. Don't get me wrong, individual effort is needed. The Brahmastra did not just leave its resting place and go after Lord Hanuman. Indrajit had to engage the weapon. He had to exert some effort. But listeners, make your efforts and then surrender the result to God. Trust that He knows best. Treat any outcome as His prasadam.
In Shloka 30 of chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna as much. He tells him to let go of any desire, any attachment to a certain result, and just perform his duty, which, as a Kshatriya, was to fight. The Lord Himself gave this instruction.
Actually, Rishi, I'm happy that of all the 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita, you mentioned chapter 3. Listeners, as most, if not all of you would know, we are now in the period of Pitra Paksha. Pujya Sri Swamiji has said that if we want peace for our forefathers, we should chant chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. Who knows what worlds our ancestors are in? But, said Appaji, they will all attain higher worlds if you do Parayana of chapter 3 daily, if you chant the entire chapter 3 daily. So, on this Pitra Paksha evening, let us join together and chant the third of those 18 sacred chapters. May Sri Krishna be pleased with this offering. May Pujya Sri Swamiji be pleased with this offering. May the mains be pleased with this offering. Om Shri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha.
Listeners, if you need to find the words to chant along, but you do not have a copy of Bhagavad Gita at hand, simply open the Bhajanmala app or website, enter Stotra ID number 2275 and chant along with Pujya Sri Swamiji.
अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः कर्मयोगः अर्जुन उवाच ज्यायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे माम् नियोजयसि केशव व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानाम् कर्मयोगेन योगिनाम् न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यम् पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत् कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते नियतं कुरु कर्मत्वम् कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयम् कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थम् कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर सह यज्ञाः प्रजाः सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एष वोस्त्विष्टकामधुक् देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परम् भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यथ इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवाः दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तानप्रदायेभ्यः यो भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तः मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघम् पापाः ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात् अन्नाद्भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः यज्ञाद्भवति पर्जन्यः यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवम् विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम् तस्मात् सर्वगतम् ब्रह्म नित्यम् यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम् एवम् प्रवर्तितम् चक्रम् नानुवर्तयतीहयः अघायुरिन्द्रियारामः मोघम् पार्थ स जीवति यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यम् न विद्यते नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः न कृतेनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः तस्मादसक्तः सततम् कार्यम् कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पूरुषः कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्तदेवेतरो जनः स यत्प्रमाणम् कुरुते लोकस्तदनुवर्तते न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यम् त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यम् वर्त एव च कर्मणि यदि ह्यहम् न वर्तेय जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोकाः न कुर्याम् कर्म चेदहम् शङ्करस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्यामिमाः प्रजाः सक्ताः कर्मण्य विद्वांसः यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद्विद्वांस्तथा सक्तः चिकीर्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहम् न बुद्धिभेदम् जनयेत् अज्ञानाम् कर्मसङ्गिनाम् जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन् प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहङ्कारविमूढात्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्मविभागयोः गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्ते इति मत्वा न सज्जते प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत् मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यस्याध्यात्मचेतसा निराशीर्निर्ममो भूत्वा युध्यस्व विगतज्वरः ये मे मतमिदम् नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः श्रद्धावन्तो न सूयन्तः मुच्यन्ते तेऽपि कर्मभिः ये त्वेतदभ्यसूयन्तः नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम् सर्वज्ञानविमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टानचेतसः सदृशम् चेष्टते स्वस्याः प्रकृतेर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिम् यान्ति भूतानि निग्रहः किम् करिष्यति इन्द्रियस्येन्द्रियस्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्न वशमागच्छेत् तौ ह्यस्य परिपन्थिनौ श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः। अर्जुन उवाच अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयम् पापं चरति पूरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः। श्रीभगवानुवाच काम एष क्रोध एषः रजो गुणसमुद्भवः महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्धेनमिह वैरिणम्। धूमेनाव्रियते वह्निः यथा दर्शो मलेन च यथोल्बेनावृतो गर्भः तथा तेनेदमावृतम्। आवृतम् ज्ञानमेतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरिणा कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पूरेणानलेन च इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिः अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते। एतैर्विमोहयत्येषः ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनम्। तस्मात् त्वमिन्द्रियाण्यादौ नियम्य भरतर्षभ पाप्मानं प्रजहिह्येनम् ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम्। इन्द्रियाणि पराण्याहुः इन्द्रियेभ्यः परम् मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः यो बुद्धेः परतस्तु सः। एवम् बुद्धेः परम् बुद्ध्वा संस्तभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुम् महाबाहो कामरूपम् दुरासदम्। इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायाम् योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे कर्मयोगो नाम तृतीयोऽध्यायः। सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः।
Divine words first uttered by Sri Krishna Paramatma himself and rendered now by the present day Avadhuta of the Holy Trinity of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, Paramapujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam, which for the months of September and October will be coming to you at this new time of 6 p.m. every Sunday, right here on 103.1 FM, through the grace of Puja Sri Swamiji and thanks to the kind and dedicated sponsorship by Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited and Kokie Supermart Limited.
Today, inspired by the 76th shloka of Shatashloki Ramayanam, we've heard that when Lord Hanuman, with a view to meeting Ravana, allowed himself to be bound by the Brahmastra, Indrajit grew furious that other demons were tying Lord Hanuman with more ropes. Indrajit knew that this would weaken the effect of that powerful weapon which he had dispatched. He shouted at the demons to stop using the ropes, but his screams fell on deaf ears. The demons were thoroughly enjoying tying up this monkey.
Indrajit was trying to figure out if any other weapon could be used on this Vanara now that the Brahmastra had been rendered futile due to the acts of the demons. While he was still reflecting upon this, Lord Hanuman began to calmly walk behind the demons who were pulling and dragging him. Indrajit was surprised to see this, but was pleased with this outcome.
There were celebrations in the city. Every demon was approaching Hanuman and giving him a blow with their fist. But teaching us through his behavior once again, Lord Hanuman did not lose his calm. He continued to walk behind the demons who were dragging him across the streets of Lanka.
Hanuman was taken to the royal palace where Ravana, dressed in silks, was majestically seated on a fully decorated grand throne. Seated amongst 4 of his ministers who surrounded him, Ravana looked like a large island surrounded by the 4 gigantic oceans on all sides.
Hanuman admired the demon's splendor, grandeur, courage, prowess, and strength. all of which were unimaginable. If only he had not stooped to the lowly levels of kidnapping Mother Sita, he could have continued to majestically rule over his kingdom. Lord Hanuman's next thought is one we should always remember. As he looked at Ravana, he thought, this one deed has robbed Ravana of his entire merit.
Ravana was shaken up upon seeing Lord Hanuman. He thought, this Vanara appears so different compared to the others that I've seen. What splendor he possesses! To me, he looks like the mighty Nandi, the bull attendant of Lord Shiva, who had cursed me when I had lifted up the Kailasa mountain in the past. In radiance, this Vanara is equal to that Nandi.
Upon Ravana's order, Minister Prahasta addressed Hanuman and asked, Hey monkey, who are you and why did you come to our city? Tell us about yourself.
Hanuman said, and look at how he introduces himself, alright? He does not say, I am Hanuman. Instead, he says, I am the messenger of Lord Rama. I am a Vanara and have come here solely with the intention of seeing you. Due to a boon given by Lord Brahma, the Brahmastra cannot harm me, but I allowed myself to be bound by these ropes so that I could see you. I came here in search of Mother Sita, and I have successfully completed that mission. I have met the Divine Mother. Now, for the rest of the task, my master, Lord Rama, is going to come here personally. Listen to my message, O King. Return Sita to Rama and protect your life. I have the capacity to single-handedly destroy this entire city. Mother Sita is the form of fire. She is Agni Swarupa. Due to her power, fire is being aroused here in Lanka. It is just a matter of time before the entire city is engulfed in flames. You are seeking self-destruction. Please do not bring about the end of your own race. Rama cannot be vanquished in war. In any war, it is he alone who emerges victorious. His arrows are infallible.
In this way, Lord Hanuman praised his master and stood there contemplating upon him. Om Sita Ramabhyam Namaha.
Listeners, before we begin to wrap up today's episode of Datta Arpanam, let us too contemplate upon that Lord, Sri Rama, as we once again join Puja Sri Swamiji in worship.
Raghuvara Shubhakar Sri Rama, Ganashara Rama, Ripuhar Rama.
Raghuvara Shubhakara Shri Rama, Ganashara Rama, Ripuhara Rama.
Raghuvara Shubhakar Sri Rama, Ganashara Rama, Ripuhar Rama.
Raghuvara Shubhakara Shri Rama, Ganashara Rama, Ripuhara Rama.
Mai Guru Bodham Vigalita Moham,
Mai Guru Bodham Vigalita Moham,
Dvayikrita Ragam Pravitata Yogam,
Dvayikrita Ragam Pravitata Yogam.
Mai Guru Bodham Vigalita Moham,
Mai Guru Bodham Vigalita Moham,
Dvayikrita Ragam Pravitata Yogam,
Dvayikrita Ragam Pravitata Yogam.
Raghuvara Shubhakara Sri Rama, Ganashara Rama, Ripuhar Rama.
Raghuvara Shubhakara Shri Rama, Ganashara Rama, Ripuhara Rama.
Pravijita Soma, Pravihata Kama,
Pravijita Soma, Pravihata Kama,
Prachurita Dhama, Pramudita Bhima,
Prachurita Dhama, Prabhudita Bhima,
Shamadama Shila, Sumasama Hela,
Shamadama Shila, Sumasamahela,
Dhanusu सुतकाल सुमधुर लीला सुमधुर लीला रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुकर राम
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुकर राम
यदि भुवि धर्म विगलित मर्म
यदि भुवि धर्मो विगलित मर्मो
वपुरनु कुर्यात् सहितव रूपम्
वपुरनुकुर्यात् सहितवरूपम्
उपनिषदर्थो यदि कृतदेहो
उपनिषदर्थो यदि कृतदेहो
भवसि च सत्त्वं सच्चिदानन्द भवसि च सत्त्वं
सच्चिदानन्द
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
हरे रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
हरे रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
हे घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
हे घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
घनशर राम रिपुहर राम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम रिपुहर राम रिपुहर राम 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 राम
What a way to wrap up the weekend and get ready to welcome in a new school week, a new work week. You were just listening to the divine voice of His Holiness, the present day Avaduta of Lord Dattatreya, Paramapujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
Pranams and gratitude are offered at the divine feet of Paramapuja Sri Swamiji, without whose teachings, compassion, love, guidance, and music, this show would not be possible. It is humanly impossible to fully relate just how palpable Puja Sri Swamiji's hand is in getting Datta Arpanam to you every week.
Pranams to you, Puja Appaji. Kindly forgive any errors which may have been committed in preparing or in sharing today's show, and please guide us to avoid such errors in the future.
Special thanks are extended to the staff at 103.1 FM and to the sponsors of Datta Arpanam, Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Koke Supermart Limited.
And of course, to you, dear listener, heartfelt gratitude is again extended for sharing your evening with us.
Please tune in to 103.1 FM again next Sunday at 6 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time for another edition of Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music, and teachings of Paramapuja Sri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji. In the meantime, have a blessed week, everyone. Jai Guru Datta.
Shri Guru Datta. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
ಹನುಮಂತ ಬಲವಂತ ಚಲವಂತ ಯಶವಂತ ಗುಣವಂತ ಮಹಸಂತ ಜಯವಂತ ಶುಭಚಿಂತ ಹನುಮಂತ ಬಲವಂತ ಚಲವಂತ ಯಶವಂತ ಗುಣವಂತ ಮಹಸಂತ ಜಯವಂತ ಶುಭಚಿಂತ ಬಲವಂತ ಗುಣವಂತ ಜಯವಂತ ಹನುಮಂತ ಚಲವಂತ ಗುಣವಂತ ಜಯವಂತ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ತೇಜ ಕಪಿರಾಜ ಸುರಭಾಜ ರಾಮ ಭೂಜ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ತೇಜ ಕಪಿರಾಜ ಸುರಭಾಜ ರಾಮ ಭೂಜ ದುಷ್ಟನಾಶ ಭಕ್ತವಶ ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ ರಾಮೇಶ ದುಷ್ಟನಾಶ ಭಕ್ತವಶ ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ ರಾಮೇಶ ಮಗವೀರ ರಣಧೀರ ಗಂಭೀರ ಮಹಶೂರ ಮಗವೀರ ರಣಧೀರ ಗಂಭೀರ ಮಹಶೂರ ಶುಭಸಾರ ದುಃಖ ದೂರ ಗುಣಧೀರ ಕರುಣಾಕರ ಶುಭಸಾರ ದುಃಖ ದೂರ ಗುಣಧೀರ ಕರುಣಾಕರ ಚಲವಂತ ಗುಣವಂತ ಜಯವಂತ ಹನುಮಂತ ಚಲವಂತ ಗುಣವಂತ ಜಯವಂತ ಪಂಚಾನನ ಸಂತಾನನ ಗಂಧಮಾದನ ಕಿರಣಾನಾನ ಪಂಚಾನನ ಸಂತಾನನ ಗಂಧಮಾದನ ಕಿರಣಾನಾನ ವಿಶ್ವರೂಪ ವಿರೂಪಾಕ್ಷ ಉಷ್ಟ್ರವಾಹನ ಧ್ಯಾನ ನಿರತ ವಿಶ್ವರೂಪ ವಿರೂಪಾಕ್ಷ ಉಷ್ಟ್ರವಾಹನ ಧ್ಯಾನ ನಿರತ ಅಂಜಾನಂದ ಆನಂದ ವಾಯುಕಂದ ದೇವ ವಂದ್ಯ ಅಂಜಾನಂದ ಆನಂದ ವಾಯುಕಂದ ದೇವ ವಂದ್ಯ ಅಭಯಾನಂದ ಸೇತು ಬಂದ ರಾಮಾನಂದ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಅಭಯಾನಂದ ಸೇತು ಬಂದ ರಾಮಾನಂದ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಹನುಮಂತ ಬಲವಂತ ಚಲವಂತ ಯಶವಂತ ಗುಣವಂತ ಮಹಸಂತ ಜಯವಂತ ಶುಭಚಿಂತ ಹನುಮಂತ ಬಲವಂತ ಚಲವಂತ ಯಶವಂತ ಗುಣವಂತ ಮಹಸಂತ ಜಯವಂತ ಶುಭಚಿಂತ